In the annals of history, few figures loom as large as George Catlett Marshall, a soldier, a statesman, a visionary leader. His impact on the 20th century, particularly in shaping the destiny of Europe, remains unparalleled. Born in 1880, Marshall's journey was one of unwavering dedication and service. A graduate of the Virginia Military Institute, he embodied the values of duty, honor, and integrity. His early military career saw him excel in various roles, demonstrating his strategic acumen. As the storm clouds of war gathered, President Franklin Delano Roosevelt recognized Marshall's exceptional abilities. In 1941, Roosevelt appointed Marshall as the U.S. Army Chief of Staff. Faced with the daunting task of building and equipping a massive fighting force, Marshall's organizational genius shone through. He was instrumental in shaping the Allied strategy that would eventually lead to victory. Marshall's leadership during World War II was characterized by his deep understanding of strategy and logistics. He recognized early on that defeating Nazi Germany required a united front. Marshall was instrumental in forging strong alliances with Great Britain, the Soviet Union, and other Allied nations. He advocated for the Europe First strategy, prioritizing the defeat of Nazi Germany over Japan. His strategic decisions, often made in the face of intense political pressure, proved decisive in the Allied victory. One of Marshall's greatest strengths was his ability to identify and nurture talent. He promoted capable officers based on their abilities regardless of their background. Marshall's leadership extended beyond the battlefield, working closely with President Roosevelt to keep the American people informed. His calm and reassuring demeanor inspired confidence in a nation facing its greatest challenge. The guns fell silent in 1945, but the devastation wrought by World War II was profound. Europe lay in ruins, with cities reduced to rubble and millions left homeless. As the victorious Allies turned their attention to rebuilding, George Marshall emerged as a voice of reason and compassion. Unlike some who advocated for punishing the vanquished, Marshall understood that lasting peace could only be built on a foundation of economic recovery. The winter of 1946 to 1947 was particularly harsh, exacerbating the already dire situation in Europe. Food shortages were widespread, and political instability threatened further chaos. Marshall recognized the danger posed by the spread of communism and believed that a prosperous and stable Europe was essential to containing Soviet influence. Out of this conviction, the Marshall Plan was born. In June 1947, speaking at Harvard University's commencement ceremony, Secretary of State George Marshall unveiled a bold plan for European recovery. The Marshall Plan was a testament to Marshall's belief in the power of international cooperation. The plan was remarkably inclusive, offered to all European nations, including those that had been on the losing side of the war. The only condition for participation was a commitment to democracy and economic reform. The Marshall Plan was not simply a humanitarian effort, it was a strategic masterstroke. By fostering economic recovery in Western Europe, the United States aimed to create a bulwark against the spread of communism. A prosperous and stable Europe would be less susceptible to Soviet influence and serve as a vital trading partner for the United States. Over 4 years, the United States provided over $13 billion in aid to European nations. This aid was instrumental in rebuilding war-torn economies, revitalizing industries, and improving living standards. The scale of the Marshall Plan was unprecedented. Implementing the Marshall Plan was a massive undertaking that required close coordination between the United States and the recipient nations. Marshall oversaw the creation of the Economic Cooperation Administration, ECA, to manage the distribution of aid. Aid was provided in various forms, including grants, loans, and technical assistance. Funds were used to rebuild infrastructure, modernize industries, and purchase essential goods. The Marshall Plan was about fostering economic growth and self-sufficiency. The ECA encouraged European nations to adopt sound economic policies, promote free trade, and invest in education and technology. The plan also emphasized the importance of regional cooperation. Within a few short years, Europe's economy was back on its feet, with industrial production soaring and trade resuming. George Marshall's legacy extends far beyond his military accomplishments or even the Marshall Plan itself. He was a man of unwavering integrity, profound humility, and a deep commitment to peace and international cooperation. His leadership during World War II helped to save the world from tyranny, and his vision for post-war Europe laid the foundation for decades of peace and prosperity. The Marshall Plan stands as a shining example of what can be achieved through international cooperation. It reminds us that, even in the darkest of times, hope can prevail, and nations can come together to rebuild. In 1953, Marshall was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize in recognition of his efforts to rebuild Europe and promote international understanding. His legacy continues to inspire generations of leaders and citizens alike. George Catlett Marshall, the soldier, the statesman, the architect of peace, stands as a testament to the power of leadership and vision. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe for more content on historical figures and their enduring impacts.